Hi everyone! So today is all about, getting on your bold side, and this is our boldest palette. This is the unicorn palette, okay? Obviously. It's actually palette 5, but this is what I call the unicorn palette. It's so gorgeous. Isn't that not so gorgeous? And I know everyone gets really scared of this because they're like, oh, if I use those colors, my shadow is going to be so bold. Let me tell you, it doesn't have to be crazy bold. These colors all work really well together, and you can have a really pretty look using this palette without being too overly bold. So I always recommend putting some primer on your eyes first. Try to get a specific to eye primer. That is going to be your best option. Okay, and then make sure you have all the brushes that you need. Where did mine go? Okay. So I have 3 brushes that are just kind of my whole lifeline. So I have this brush. This brush is double-ended. It is an angled shadowed brush, and it has a sponge on the bottom. I am absolutely obsessed with this brush. I think you can do pretty much everything with it. Our crease brush is one of the best crease brushes I've ever used. A lot of crease brushes are too fluffy, so this is a crease brush also. See how fluffy that is compared to this? Like, it's just like flimsy. This is like a Q-tip, and then there's feathers on the end here, and those really help when you're doing your crease and blending out. And then the last brush that I have, this brush should be fluffy. This is a blending brush, okay? This is what you use last to help blend your whole look out. And I'm really bad about cleaning my brushes. You should clean them at least once a week. I use my brushes so much that even though I do tend to clean them once a week, they just have so much gunk in them. So let me just kind of brush them off for a second here because like stuff's just flying off from them. Okay. Alright, so using this palette, I'm going to just pick some of the colors just to kind of create this nice look for you guys so that you can see that it's not too intimidating. And the first color that I'm going to use, I really like this color for a transition, is I'm going to use Suspicious, okay, which is this pretty like kind of orangey color, but it's almost skin tone. The big thing with this is that when you use any of our palettes, any of our colors, they're very highly pigmented, so you want to be careful how much you use, okay? So I'm just literally one swipe. That's all I'm going to need. Okay, and then just go ahead and line your transition. So your transition, what I consider a transition color, is going to go kind of from the corner here and then just right underneath that brow bone. You can kind of feel where your brown bone starts here. And what this color does is create an area for blending to occur in, essentially, and not look crazy. Okay, so see, that color is not too bad. It is almost skin tone. If you want to go a little bit bolder, you can go ahead and add a little bit more color. Okay, but you don't have to. I have foundation on my eyes there. That's what that weird little line was. See, that's not a super scary color, right? Really pretty, but the big key is to go one swap, okay? And again, if you want to be a little bit darker, just, one more swap, okay? And it'll brighten it up, just because that is how pigmented these are. You can kind of build on them. Okay. So I have that transition color on, and then the next color that I'm going to use, I really like this color, is the Vindictive Yellow. Okay, so I'm going to just one swipe that, and I'm going to just put that in the inner corner here, and just start to bring it across my eye. I really like this Vindictive color. Do you see how pretty that yellow is? So right in the inner corner of my eye. This is why I like the angled shadow brush, because it gets right in that inner corner. And bring it across. Okay. So pretty, it's shimmery, but it's not like super crazy bright, right? So nothing too scary yet. Okay. And the other color that I really like that I'm going to use, and this is just to show, you don't have to do all these colors. I mean, you could really just bring Vindictive all the way across your lid and then do a crease color. But I like to have a little bit of fun. So I'm going to do this Vintage. Okay, Vintage is pretty. Vintage is like very orangey. Okay, and it looks really nice with Fearless and Victorious as well. Pretty much all of the colors in this palette just go really nicely together. So now this color is a little bit brighter, so you want to be careful with how much you use, or darker, not really necessarily brighter, but darker. So just be careful how much you use, and then bring it through the rest of your eye there. So you kind of did like half your lid in the yellow, the Vindictive, and then this one is in the Vintage, the orange color. See, and just one little swap, and you're not getting too much on, and it's not looking too crazy. And then at this point, if you wanted to blend out, if you're going to do this exact look, just take your brush and just real lightly just kind of fluff right where those two meet. It's going to just help to blend them so you don't have like a sharp line there, okay? Now we can go ahead and do a crease color. I am going to do Victorious. It's this really pretty pink at the bottom here. It's almost like a pinky purple, okay? So just a little dab right on my crease brush here. And I'm going to go right in the outer corner and create a V, and then just bring it across. Okay, just like I would doing any kind of smoke eye kind of look. And the same thing on this side. So you do your V, and that's when you're going to feel, it's going to feel like a Q-tip, and then when you bring it across, that's where you're going to be feathering. It's going to feel nice and light and feathery when you start to bring it across your crease line. Okay, you only want to have it feel like a Q-tip when you're doing your little V here, okay? Alright, and then that can be your whole look, or you can take a little bit of, I'll take my blending brush to do this, take a little bit of Brilliant, and just put it right underneath and right in this corner, right underneath your brow and right in this corner. You can do that. But Brilliant is really, really bright. Okay, and even if you use a little bit, it just ends up really bright because it's such a lighter color. So once you have it on where it should be, you know, under your brow here and in here, you can use this blending brush just to kind of fluff it out. And blend it a little bit so it's just not so quite so bright on you, if bright isn't your thing. And then you can just fluff. I like to start inner corner and work my way across. And I'm not using a lot of pressure, and I'm just blowing off the excess. Alright, so that would be a really pretty look with palette 5, and it's really not too bold, so there's nothing to be afraid of.